Broadcasting live, KSLA News 12 starts now.
New at 10, a blazing fire destroyed a home this evening and damaged 2 vehicles. The fire happened in the 700 block of Cleveland Street in Texarkana, Arkansas. Firefighters found this house completely engulfed in flames. You can see them there, and that smoke was billowing into the sky. No injuries are reported at this time. Destiny Patterson here, and we're going to send it over to Jessica Moore for our freezing first alert forecast. Yesterday, obviously, we saw some flurries in areas. It's still really cold, but Jessica, what are we expecting?
Well, we're still expecting a very cold night in store, already down into the 30s. But speaking of the snow that we did see on Saturday, here's a look at amounts that we saw across the Arklatex. Starting with Shreveport, only had trace amounts. I did see a few flurries last night after I left the studio from the newscast, but the one that tops the chart, Broken Bow, Oklahoma, measuring at around 3.2 inches of snow yesterday. Hope, Arkansas, saw around 0.7 inches. Clarksville, around 1.5 inches over in Texas. Texarkana saw around 0.7 inches of snowfall as well. But temperatures right now are still very cold out there. Will drop as we head into the overnight hours, but not expecting any more snow flurries. 32 right now in DeQueen, 36 in Idabel, 41 right now in Texarkana, near freezing in Marshall, Texas. They're at 33 right now. 37 in Shreveport, 34 for Mansfield, and it's freezing in Natchitoches, sitting at 32 degrees as we progress it throughout the overnight hours. Temperatures are going to drop and actually be near and below freezing for your MLK start to the day. 28 degrees in Idabel and DeQueen tomorrow morning, 33 in Texarkana, 30 in Marshall, Texas, around 33 in Shreveport, as well as Mansfield, Coushatta, around 31 degrees. So if you do have to head out tomorrow, make sure to factor in enough time to start your car and heat it before you get out the door on your way. More in your forecast coming up.
Now, to make sure that you download our KSLA News 12 weather app. It's where you'll find the most up-to-date weather information, including new video forecasts from Jessica and our First Alert weather team. Here's something we're keeping an eye on for you. You should be able to order free COVID-19 tests starting this Wednesday. The White House says that's when the federal website covidtest.gov will open. Keep in mind those supplies are limited to 4 tests per household, and the tests are expected to ship out 7 to 12 days after you order them. Also, people with private health insurance will be reimbursed for buying the tests. President Biden recently announced he will buy an extra 500 million at-home tests for distribution. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is changing its mask guidelines, now saying you should wear the most protective mask you can that fits well and that you'll wear consistently. This new guidance comes as the U.S. is drenched with Omicron, a variant so contagious that it's caused daily cases to double in the past 2 weeks. Dr. Sanjay Gupta explains why an N95 is your best bet to stay safe.
Now, one key thing about the N95 masks is you got to make sure they actually fit really well. Having these 2 bands around the back of your head, and then making sure no air is escaping around your eyes or your cheeks or your chin.
Studies have shown that cloth masks can have about 75% leakage, a surgical mask can have about 50%, and an N95 can go down to as low as 1%. The clock is ticking for Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. A Texas prosecutor says Paxton has to turn over text messages or he'll be sued. In a letter, the Travis County District Attorney says Paxton violated the state's open records laws by withholding or failing to retain his communications related to his appearance at a pro-Trump rally that led to the Capitol insurrection last January. Thursday, the district attorney said Paxton had 4 days to turn over those documents. Paxton denies any wrongdoing. Today, President Biden denounced the hours-long hostage situation at a Texas synagogue that happened yesterday. He specifically called the incident an act of terror that will not be tolerated. The 4 people who were taken hostage there Saturday are now safe, and the suspect was killed by the FBI. The president says the attorney general is focused on dealing with attacks like this.
I also told him that I wanted to make sure we got the word out to synagogues and places of worship that we're not going to tolerate this, that we have this capacity to deal with assault on particularly the anti-Semitism that has grown up And so, and I'll be talking with, I put a call into the rabbi. We missed one another on the way up here. But they should rest assured that we are focused. We are focused. The Attorney General is focused on making sure that we deal with these kinds of acts.
Biden also took the opportunity to renew calls for background checks on firearm purchases. At this time, authorities believe the firearm used was bought on the street. Also top of mind for the president, a virtual meeting is scheduled with the Japanese Prime Minister Friday. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says the two leaders will discuss their visions for free and open Indo-Pacific. They also are expected to talk about working together in the fight against COVID-19. Every month of the year, it's important to bring awareness to a cause. And this month, we're talking about cervical cancer. KSLA News 12's Taylor Davis tells us more about prevention.
The American Cancer Society predicts about 4,280 women will die from cervical cancer this year.
Cervical cancer is a disease of women. It's a gynecologic malignancy that can happen in patients of any number of ages.
Willis Knight and Dr. Lane Rosen explains why it's important to know about the disease.
The HPV vaccine can prevent the development of the HPV virus, which is the direct cause of cervical cancer.
Studies say it mostly impacts women over the age of 30, and it can be detected by a simple HPV test or a Pap test.
Specifically, first, be vaccinated. Second, women should have their Pap smears according to guidelines. And thirdly, if found early enough, could undergo a curative hysterectomy. And if not, in a very early stage, could undergo curative radiation therapy.
It's recommended that all preteens starting at the age of 11 get the HPV vaccine. To find out more information, you can log on to our KSLA News app. Taylor Davis, KSLA News 12.
You have just one more day to apply for Shreveport's Guaranteed Income Program. If you get picked, your family would be one of 110 families to get $660 a month for a year. Now, there are some requirements to qualify. You have to be a single Shreveport parent to a school-aged child and make 120% of the federal poverty level. I talked to Shreveport Mayor Adrian Perkins about the interest in this program.
In the first hour, we had 100 people apply to this program. As of yesterday, we had over 12,000 people apply for this program. That shows you the need here in this community, unfortunately, and it shows you the interest in this community as well for people to participate. There's a lot of financial suffering that's still going on. You know, the pandemic's not over, and families are signing up because they need these additional dollars.
You still have tonight and Monday to apply. And if you want to know if you qualify, go to our KSLA News 12 app, and that's where we break down those income requirements. Let the good times roll. It's Mardi Gras season, so here are some of the events to add to your calendar. Of course, the crew of Sobek finished its parade yesterday at the State Fairgrounds, and tomorrow you can catch the crew of Harambe's parade on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Then in February, the crew of Barkus and Meow on the 13th. A week later, the crew of Centaur rolls on February 19th, and on the 26th, be sure to catch the crew of Gemini Parade, followed by the crew of Highland on February 27th. Now we're celebrating the 2022 Mardi Gras season on our KSLA News 12 app and KSLA.com. Just scan that QR code that you see on your screen there, and you'll be able to find information on carnival celebrations from across the state of Louisiana. We'll continue to update the Mardi Gras section throughout the season.